Awesome, we're being recorded. Welcome to Bake with Sharon, everybody. I am so, oh, I think I have to hit my own computer so that we can see each other. So welcome to Bake with Sharon. This is my chocolate chip cookie recipe that I have been making. I know it by heart. It is my very favorite recipe. My girls know it, and it's a kind of recipe that you can play around with, and I'm going to tell you some of my variations as we go through the recipe. We've already done a little prep, so your oven should be on to 350 degrees, 325 if it's convect. You've got your cookie sheets lined with parchment, and if you have a cooling rack out, and everyone, if you have a stand mixer, here, let me see if I can pull up here. This is what a stand, oh, that's heavy, mixer looks like. If you ever make a large purchase in your life and you like to bake, buy a stand mixer. Mine is a KitchenAid. I've had this thing for 20 years. It is my absolute favorite kitchen accessory that I have, and I use it literally almost every day. So if you, and you can do things, by the way, you can get an attachment and make homemade pasta. We do that all the time. You can use it for all kinds of things. There's different attachments. Today we're using, this is called the paddle attachment. So if you have your mixer, make sure you have your paddle attachment in on your KitchenAid. There's a little notch and you just slide it up and turn it. And of course, we've already washed our hands, everyone, so we can kind of move along with that. So when I get started for my cookies, I'm gonna have my assistant help me. Can you just push this a little bit closer just so we get a little more and then angle it this way? Perfect, okay. So when I mentioned the butter, the reason why we get our butter room temperature is because it's just easier to mix. And the key to a good cookie is really well incorporated butter and sugar. So we have 2 sticks of softened butter. And I want to tell you how this is one of kind of my own tweaks for my cookies. Often recipes in baking call for unsalted butter, so you can control the salt intake. I like my cookies salty, so I always use salted butter. So you can choose. That's the beauty of this. You can decide if you want your cookies to be a little less salty, use unsalted butter. I like salted. So I'm gonna take my 2 sticks of butter, I unwrap, and just put the whole stick, once it's softened, into my mixer. And I realize now this is one of those things that I'm learning as I go with Bake with Sharon, that it's gonna be loud once my mixer goes on. So I just want to tell you this before we get started so I don't have to yell. We would like to mix this butter. This is a trick I learned from Christina Tosi, who is the founder and chef of Milk Bar, which makes these insanely amazing cookies and treats. You really want to mix this butter for almost 10 minutes. So we are going to get this butter mixing. Once it's mixed for a couple of minutes, just the butter, we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of regular white sugar. But this is going to get loud in a minute, so I just want us to be a step ahead. Yes, Jillian?
Quick questions. One, what's the, is it okay that they're using an electric hand mixer, and will that impact the timing or just same amount of time?
Same amount of time, great question.
And Heather, and then the chocolate chip cookie, the size of the chocolate chips is 1 bag, 12 ounces, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Just want to make sure. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be a step or 2 ahead since it will be loud. We're going to mix the butter for about 2 to 3 minutes before we add the sugar. Once we add the sugar, we are then going to mix everything together for a good solid 5-7 minutes more. So here we go. While we put this on medium speed, then we will measure out our sugar. Okay, hi Sam, hi Island. Yeah. So awesome to have you. Hey, welcome. Oh, I see Corey's coming on. He's been a good baker with us. So while I'm mixing medium, once it starts going, you can pull it up a little faster. Now I'm getting 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of white sugar.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just turned the speed up again a little. You really want to mix it up, get that air in there. It makes it light and fluffy. So I'm waiting a minute before I add my sugar.
Yeah.
It's a good time for you to gather your stuff.
Yeah.
I see this is awesome. I see measuring cups out. I see movement.
Yes.
Faith is just mixing away with that hand mixer. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to add my sugar now, guys. Slow pour. Just a steady stream in there. Remember, with the brown sugar, you want to make sure it's packed in. I'm going to use a measuring spoon to get it in there. So 1 cup of each. I always really pack in my brown sugar. You want all of that flavor. Do you mind getting this stuff? All right, guys. Brown sugar, same thing. Slow trickle in. This you're going to have to tap on the edge. Close up my stuff, move it to the side. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Elias. If you wanted to, or Elias, my God, I do that every time. I'm so sorry. I do want to tell you a trick. If you see, I'm going to stop this for a second. Sorry, it's so loud. If you see that the top of your butter and sugar mixture is not coming together, stop your mixer, carefully push the top, take your spatula, scrape those edges down so that we have a nice even mix with your butters and sugars. While we are waiting, we're going to turn this back on. I just want to give you another step ahead. I got to see which order I told you to do this. So the next thing we're going to do is add the egg and the vanilla. But wait, we're not doing it yet. We're still mixing. Just be prepared for what's next. I put it on high to ram it up. Make it nice and high, super fast, butter, sugar incorporating. Let me see if I can show you what's happening here. See that coming together? All right. You can mix by hand. Oh yeah, we don't want a smoking mixer. Absolutely. Mix by hand. Again, this is why we have good arms. All that good working out. This is going to keep going. You really want to give it a couple minutes to incorporate. What's next is our egg and our vanilla. Remember, if you're using the vanilla that I told you, you can make your own vanilla bean vodka. Mix it up, and there you go. Yes.
Can they mix it by hand if the mixer is old and it started smoking?
Yes, I just answered that. I was very proud of myself.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I don't think you can hear me. I have no idea if you guys can hear me with the.
That's mixers on, so it's hard for me to hear you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, and also I can't hear a thing. But I'm trying to make a good batch of cookies, so I'm really doing this right. So we're gonna let this go. Get ready. 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1 extra large egg or large egg. So I'm gonna let it mix for 1 more minute. How's it going? Oh, I see the vanilla going. I see, that's awesome. That's okay. Oh, you know, Island, you could make this recipe without chocolate chips. Or you could add M&Ms or nuts or sprinkles if you wanted to make a funfetti cookie. You do not need to have chocolate chips. You can mix in any ingredient you want, really. This is the base of the cookie. So you could come up with your own concoction. In fact, I mentioned Christina Tosi from Milk Bar. Her awesome cookie is called the Kitchen Zinc, has potato chips. So go crazy if you want to make these. Oh no, it's not potato chips, it's cornflakes. It's cornflakes and chocolate chips, and I think she puts nuts in it too.
Sarah, did you see Eileen's question about what utensils should they use for hand mixing?
Oh, well, you could actually just use your spatula, because anything else that's gonna get stuck, a whisk will get stuck. So just try the spatula. That's, by the way, the good old fashioned way, so don't feel bad about that. That's the way it's done. All right, I'm gonna start adding my egg. You can crack it in the bowl if you want and pour it in. Remember my trick? Woo! All right. I might have just did there. I'm gonna quickly rinse my hands and get my vanilla in. So 1 egg, tablespoon of vanilla. I'm gonna stop this for a second so you can hear me. You always want to wash your hands if you get egg on them, because you could get sick if you have raw eggs. So you want to be careful with that. Because I make my own vanilla, I really shake it vigorously. And I just like to put a super hearty tablespoon in there. And then we'll get that mixer going. Keep it going while you're pouring your ingredients in. The next 2 additions are baking soda, 1 hefty teaspoon, and salt. You know, I keep my salt in my little canister here. So this one, I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And like I said, it's okay if it's a little extra. You want them to really rise up. Not spill it all over your table like I just did. And then 3/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I feel like I'm screaming. 1/8 of a teaspoon is usually the smallest that's on your teaspoon if you have them in a pack like this. So I just do 3 of these. So don't go too crazy, because we do have our salted butter. This is the base. The only thing after this is a flour. So get a nice good mix. If you want to scrape your bowls down, go ahead. And I'm going to get ready for my 2½ cups, 2½ flour. You want to turn your mixer off when you do that. Otherwise, you'll have flour everywhere. I have done that. It's not fun to clean up. All right. Got a nice good incorporation. Before I add my flour, I'm going to spray my bowl down. You just want to make sure everything is well mixed. I forgot, in addition to the flour, we have to add the chips. So, but that was not the very last ingredient, actually. Okay, give it a good little, whoop. I don't know why I always say this, but I really do make a mess when I bake. So we're doing 2½ cups of flour. Just carefully get this in here first. And we'll do a very slow start to the mix back up again so that we get, we don't have pillows of flour everywhere. 2½. Putting this aside. Okay, guys, wish us luck. Let's hope we don't go crazy. There's actually, if you do have a hand mixer, I just unplugged mine from the wall. I need my helpful assistant to get it. It does come with a guard that you could prevent the flour from coming up, but I'm too lazy. By the time you get that whole thing on, you just take it off again. So sometimes I actually put my arm around it so I don't have a big, like this. Can you see? And then once it comes together, then you can start to turn the speed up a little. So now I'm getting a nice little, now you don't want to overmix. Once that comes together, let me show you what that looks. Oh, very hard to figure out how to work this thing. One day I'm going to get good at this. You guys are going to be so proud of me when we're all done. Okay, that's not working. We need to get me a film crew, Jillian. This is not. Now we're going to add our chips. So as you guys know, I do like to keep my chips in jars, but look what happened. My children ate all my chips. So I had to get a fresh bag. And so we will add the fresh bag. You can always give a little more or a little less, depending on what you've got. And like I said, Island, you don't have to use chips. You can use anything you want, or you could just make a naked cookie and have no chips. But I'm gonna pour mine in.
Sharon, do we have to mix more before we put the chips
I
in?
would just, you don't want to see any flour. It looks to me like I'm seeing a little flour, but you're not far, so don't worry. You're very close. So again, same thing with the flour. Don't turn this on high, just a low mix. Sometimes I hold the top down because it's a lot in there to move around. Okay, it's just mixed. I'm gonna pull this up and hopefully you guys can see the consistency. Oh, there we go. So this is it. It is pretty, somewhat solid in that it's not too sticky. Sometimes there can be factors in your baking. The temperature of the day, if it's very humid out, it changes the consistency of your ingredients, and therefore it might be stickier. If your dough does not look like it can be, where's my little, here we go. You could add a tiny little bit more flour. Or you could add a little bit less, you could always add a little more vanilla because I think you can't go wrong with too much vanilla, but that's just me. And so now we've got our baking. Now here's the other trick. If you are a patient person, which I am not, you would put this mixture, you could put it in a container or in a bowl with some wrap over it and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. That really melds the flavors and makes an amazing cookie. I am too lazy, and I also never think that far ahead. I usually start baking right before I need something. So they will be equally delicious now, but it's just a more robust flavor if you let it sit. And I want to tell you another trick. You could make this dough, and you could take it, a big chunk, all of it really, and roll it into a log, like a big log, roll it together. Put saran wrap around it and get it in the fridge until it hardens up. Take it out, cut it into chunks, like the size of a cookie, like if you ever see the ready bake cookies from, I think, Pillsbury, and then you freeze them. I do it in a gallon bag and I put parchment paper in between. And that way, when you're ready to bake, you can just pull your cookies out of the freezer and bake them fresh. And then you don't have to worry about portioning and worrying about the size. So I do that sometimes. I even go as far sometimes as to actually roll my cookies out. So I freeze them like this. And then I bake them off when I need them. And I have a really fresh cookie. So if you don't feel you could bake all your cookies, you could always freeze the dough like this. You can't freeze the big lump, but you could roll it out into a log and cut it, or you could roll it out in portions and freeze it, and it will keep for several months, and then you can just use it as you need it, but we're gonna bake ours. So I wanna tell you another thing. You can usually do a cookie the size of a golf ball. I roll it, and I just gently tap it a little bit so it's somewhat flat when I put it on my tray. When I wanna make a lot of cookies, I do it smaller, but then you just have to watch the time in the oven because they'll cook more quickly. If you want a bigger cookie, you want to cook it a little bit longer. So just keep in mind that the recipe, when we said, I think it was 11 to 13 minutes, then it's for about a golf-sized ball. So I do take the time to roll all my cookies out. I always get a nice uniform cookie that way. So we're going to take, let me bring this closer. The other thing you want to remember in baking cookies is not to crowd your cookies. Use several, you can just do it in a couple of batches, but you want to make sure that you really, run away. Sorry guys, run away.
Sharon, I didn't have any eggs, so we had to stuff everything.
You know what, Sam, I'm
I
sorry.
went in my fridge and I was like, oh, my brother must have used them all.
That just happened to me with the chips, so I completely understand. I do want to tell you there are a couple of get-arounds so that if you don't have eggs, because people that are vegan and don't want to eat any animal product can use things like applesauce as an egg substitute. So you could actually use applesauce as a substitute. There is also a way to use, I know this sounds funny, but you can actually use flax meal and mix it with water. There is definitely a recipe for that, so do not do that without checking first, because I don't know the exact dimensions or specifications of that, but I do know it's possible. And so there are other ways. So just for the future, just so you know, you can have a get around.
Yeah, I probably don't want to use applesauce because sometimes applesauce is already sweetened with other stuff that you don't need.
That's true.
But maybe I'll see if I get an egg from a neighbor, and then I can work on it later.
Do you guys have egg whites?
No, we just use regular eggs.
Text a neighbor and see if they'll give you an egg.
My
mom did. But I don't think we have any egg
You
whites.
can always save it and make it later, run to the store or something.
Yeah. But the neighbor idea was a good one. That's just another way to be connected to other people. That's a great idea. All right. So,
Sharon, can you just show Elias really quick?
Yes.
Make the log again if it's easy.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just take 1 second. Victoria, will you hold it? I'm just going to real quick because my hands are so wet. I just don't
All right.
I'm just going to show you what's happening right here, and then I'm going to move on to that. Let me show you.
Okay.
Here we go, guys.
Hi, Elias.
You
Hey.
see how I have the cookies spread out? I just wanted you to see that before I show the other option. So
Okay.
this is just regular cookies, okay? And then you can go ahead and put it back. Thank you. So if you were going to make a log, Elias, I'm just going to show you with a portion of this. You could actually do it with you could do a couple of these if you wanted to make it more manageable. So I just took a big amount. It's almost like if you played with Play-Doh when you were little and you make a log.
Yeah, I used to play with Play-Doh.
Okay, also two other things. I do got something to help me out. You see this?
Yeah.
That's one thing that could help. Like I can use help. The other thing is,
100%. Yes, you can totally use that.
and I also, what I used instead, let me show you two other things I'd like to say, and I'll let you continue. Instead of a spatula, I use something similar. This is kind of this one scraper.
Yes, that's awesome.
And finally, there is one last thing.
Yes.
I know a trick way how to use storing them. There's
Okay.
a bar that they taught me, which is like you gotta divide them which is a bench scraper. So, well, at least you could do that. There was a trick they taught me how to double wrap it.
Oh,
Plastic.
well, this is why we are doing this together, and I don't have all the tricks, so thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
See more later.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to have my awesome assistant put this in the oven, and we're going to put the time. Oh, I love that, Corey. I see your cookie dough. That looks amazing. Great job. I see that Faith is still mixing up there, by the way. I see, oh, those cookies look awesome, Eileen and Heather. I love it. Oh, let me see, Elena.
Is that your daughter?
Oh, Matthew. Awesome. Yes. Yes, everyone's look fantastic. This is so great. All right, so Victoria's going to put this in the oven for 11 to 13 minutes. If you have a timer, put it on, and she's going to bring me the finished product so I can show you what this is going to look like. First, she has to actually put the cookies in and do the timer. She's doing that right now. Honey, bring me, yeah. Is it hot? Okay. So we're make sure you also, by the way, I pulled this up, make sure you always use a oven mitt. Do not touch a hot pan after it's been in the oven. Here, wait. So the finished product, they're gonna fall off, is here. I made mine a little bit bigger so you guys could see them. And I want to just tell you a distinctive thing about these particular cookies that I love. I'm going to try and get a close up. Okay, I think this is a perfect one. I don't know if this is going to come through on the camera, but you see how it looks crackled a little bit? That's how you know it's done. And you always want to be safe when baking. But I do tend to, if I am not sure if they're done, if they look a little shiny in the middle, they're not done. But when they start to get this crackly look, I know they're done, and I take them out. And I always err on the side of undercooking as opposed to overcooking. Because you guys remember I always tell you there's that carryover baking. And when they sit on the pan for a few minutes after you take them out, they will continue to cook. So if they're shiny, they're not done. If they start to have this crackled look, and I want you to see also, the bottoms usually on my cookies don't get too brown. So that's, I just want you to see what a finished product looks like so you know what to expect. But I think we've gone through all of my tips. You're gonna get your cookies in the oven. You're gonna hopefully enjoy them warm with a
My
glass of
cookies are
milk.
going to be a fail.
They're not gonna be a fail, they're just gonna take longer because you gotta get your egg. But you're gonna be fine, do not worry.
And that's going to be okay.
It's totally gonna be okay. I promise you it's gonna be okay. And you know what? It's gonna be worth the wait because you'll just have them later and it'll be after dinner, it'll be great.
I gotta tell you, my family teases me all the time because whenever I make anything, I inevitably don't have something on the recipe list. In fact, with Sharon, I was supposed to make the ladoos also, the chocolate ladoos, and I forgot to get the condensed milk, the sweetened condensed milk. So I'm with you. So don't worry about it. You can make them anytime later when you get the egg. Not a big deal.
Yes. So I think at this point, what we're gonna do is, and I realize maybe you put yours on the top and middle rack. Good. Let me give you another tip. If you have an option, always go for the middle and bottom rack first, and then use the top rack last, because the top rack is closest to that heat source. So it's, if you do put it on the top rack, which is totally fine, Ulrich, just keep an eye on it, because it might cook a little quicker because it's so close to the heat source at the top. But again,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually, because
Yeah.
I tend to do it on the top rack.
yeah, and that's fine, but it's just a matter of, and this is just a tip for baking in general. Things happen quickly in the oven, so you just got to stay on top of it and just kind of check that oven light, but don't open the oven door a million times because then you'll have, uneven baking, especially if you use convect. So, okay, so I just want to be mindful of our time because we, as usual, rocked it on time. And so now I think we can take our, I just realized, Jillian, did you by chance get a picture when everyone was like sharing their dough? Okay, if anyone has the ability to share any aspect of your product right now. Oh, great. Thank you, Eileen and Heather. Okay. So and I see Matthew's got his roll there. That's awesome. I'm trying to do this so I don't actually,
Drop your cookies.
Bring it up so I can see it.
all right, Jillian, tell us when you got it.
Guys, does Ulrich, Justin, and Eileen, do you guys want to get in the picture or no?
Oh, we'd love to see you.
You guys want to get
Or
in
my cookies slide off my sheet.
Elena, yours looks good.
Oh,
I put yours in the oven. That's okay, Bridget.
That's good.
Awesome. Okay, not today, Eileen said.
Wait, who's this over here? Corey, can you get in the picture with us?
Yeah, Corey, want to see what you got? Maybe show us your dough. Oh, I see Faith, that awesome smile. Yay,
Here's a
Matthew.
little on you and say cheese. All right, guys, ready? I'm standing up. I can't see you. All right, 1, 2. Got it.
Yay, awesome.
I'm doing a
and
picture even though I have no cookies.
That's okay. I have no cookies either, and I'm in it also. So.
yeah, we're gonna eat in a second. So while we're doing this, does anyone have any questions before we launch our poll?
No, but I will be at the van at 6:15.
Oh, over the sports.
Yes.
Good.
Awesome.
We have 20
I'm
people.
in that too.
Dang, that's a lot of people.
That's
All right,
awesome.
so why don't we, Jillian, why don't you launch the poll and then we'll talk about the events coming up.
Awesome.
There's no one that I missed. Stacey.
So if you guys haven't, I think we can still sign up. So I was just about to say that we are so lucky to have Ethan Copeland, Jillian's son, is leading the charge for our 6:15 sports club coming up today. So if you,
With Ethan and Noah Miller. The three
oh,
of
with Ethan and Noah Miller, excellent.
Mhm.
All right, so that's coming up tonight at 6:15. So that would give you time to quickly eat dinner and then go do your sports or eat dinner after.
I
So
usually
that-
eat dinner after.
And you can
Awesome.
eat dinner during too, guys.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh,
So, and then don't forget tomorrow, Friday, we've got Space of Belonging from 3 to 3:45, and then we've got yoga from 4 to 5. And then this Sunday is bingo. Can't miss bingo. Awesome game time. Tuesday, we've got Move with Kim. If you guys haven't signed up for our e-project and are interested, you could still do it. We're talking about piloting and testing your idea. On Wednesday, we've got the Arts and Crafts Club with our very own, Katie, but she's not on this particular session with us. But I've heard this Arts and Crafts Club is amazing. So you guys should check it out. I definitely want to get on that. And then also that same day on Wednesday, we've got Travel with Bridget from 4:30 to 5:15. And on Thursday, next week, we've got the Culture Club. There will be more baking classes. And next week, we are going to do coconut macaroons.
Oh, that sounds good. That's making me hungry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you're going to have to eat something. But the coconut macaroons, what's cool about them is they are also gluten-free. And I'm trying to mix it up with different kinds of things that we bake. So that'll
It's actually pronounced gluten-free. It's actually pronounced gluten-free.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for.
I'm just being silly. It's actually pronounced gluten-free.
Okay.
But my dad will often call it gluten-free.
Oh, well, that's funny. That's good. It's actually it's made with egg whites, so it's gluten-free. And I will tell you that is a recipe that calls for sweetened condensed milk. So Jillian, buy yours now so that you're prepared for next week.
Good idea. Thank you.
Oh, good. And I see Sam likes art. So I think that our poll,
Yeah, I have a little art student on my.
So we can, and we are, oh my God, we did amazing on time. I wonder how close we are to anyone's cookies being done out of the, so next week, Ulrich, we're making coconut macaroons.
Oh yeah, I think I did some similar ones like that at the other place too.
Oh, good.
It's
Yeah.
the name, but I'd like to try it again.
Yeah, they're really, really yummy. They are delicious.
I remember when I was at the bakery place, what I did sometimes was that I might have made them a few times, but a few times back when they were cooked, I dipped them in chocolate. I remember one time.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
that
my
was going to be
gosh.
my tip. That was totally going to be my tip. And you
Elias,
awesome.
please stop. You're making me hungry.
Island asked a question, by the way, guys. I see she asked about baking cakes. And so, great question. And I just want you to know, as I mentioned, I'm really trying to bake different kinds of things, but we are going to make my famous black magic cake. And so that's coming up. I don't remember which week it is, but we're going to make that cake. Cakes are hard.
Cakes are hard to make.
Cake and cheesecake are probably on the harder side of making sure things come out well.
Oh, by the way, my grandma makes
You can look it up, Island, black magic cake. It has some secret ingredients that I'm not going to give away just yet, but that are really fun. You would never expect they'd be a cake, and they make it delicious. So that is a good one. In fact, Jillian's had that cake. I think I made it for Scott for his birthday.
It's delicious. Yeah.
Awesome.
You had to share it with the kids. That's not fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll make extra. You can also make it as cupcakes, which I did. It's one of those cakes. It's not totally beautiful, but just absolutely delicious, and you don't care.
You know, and then you know what? Also, I graduated from my school, but it was a virtual graduation, so it's like it was weird.
Oh, I bet it was.
Yes, I gotcha.
Oh.
Well, I think all the graduations are virtual these days, sadly.
You know what? You're not alone. I even had some friends who were even gonna have a regular graduation this year, and then boom, the COVID-19 happened.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have like two graduations at school, and boom, the COVID-19 stuff happens. It's like you're stuck in your house.
Well, for instance, one of my friends from West Virginia is actually, for the moment, hopefully it's still on, which is he was supposed to graduate in May. There was a virtual graduation in May, but they'll reschedule it to December. And just to let people know, it is not uncommon for college people to graduate in the winter.
That is correct. That is correct. That is true. Thank you for sharing that. That's a good tip to know. So, yes, Jonathan.
Busy by hanging out with my job coach, who comes 3 days a week, and JFGH 2-3 days a week, every day.
Awesome. It's good to be busy and have things to do.
Gotcha.
And they gave me a schedule of a whole list of activities for me to do.
What
Awesome.
activities?
Good, Jonathan.
Awesome. Well, if you guys have suggestions for other things you'd like to bake, I'm happy to mix it up look at my pun, mix it up. I'm happy to mix it
I'm
up,
happy to mix it up.
and try something new. I think we should challenge each other. But at this point, I really hope you enjoy your cookies. And I really hope you had fun today. And I just am looking for, oh, thank you, Elena. You're awesome. I appreciate
Yo,
that.
you're awesome.
Yeah. So, Sharon,
Yay. Yes.
I'd like to say, I was telling you before, how I was so good. It was because there was the trick. You did a good job today on it because you did all 4 steps to make them. Because the trick in this, how you did them, it's called, which I learned from Summer Bakery, it's called the cream method. You did all 4 steps properly.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. You know, I'm not a trained baker, so I'm glad to hear that.
I'm still not a professional either, but I knew that part. It's called the creaming method. This is one of the techniques because, like I said before, because that place where I also did macarons, the Sunflower Bakery program.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did a camp there.
Well, and just to tell you, and then this is my last thing, happy birthday to Ulrich's sister. That's awesome that you made these for her. Actually, it was my daughter Victoria's birthday yesterday, and I've got my other daughter's Liza's birthday next week. So we're going to have, oh, the cookies are done. Oh, the cookies are done in my house.
Matthew, your cookies look delicious, Matthew.
Oh, I didn't see them.
Matthew, hold them up again.
Oh, let's see.
Whoa, those are some
they
beautiful
look
cookies.
perfect. Yes. Oh, look at Victoria's cup. Oh, I thought you were coming to take a cookie.
Oh, I was.
All right, you guys, I love my time with you, and I'm so grateful for this. So thank you for being with me, and thank you for baking. And
No, you're great.
Let's all give Sharon a big hand, guys. Big hand
Thank
for
you, Sharon. We're a big fan of you.
Sharon. Yay. Awesome. Happy Thursday, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.